In a man's world, she's too shrewd, too bold, too much. Listen, sister, this dame knows how to love and she knows how to live. She's strictly on the level, like a flight of stairs.
For richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health.
I'm sick right now.
But does our gal deserve to be in such a jam? Sit back and marvel at the misogyny as we toast the leading lady, Disaster to the Wench.
Feel like a new man.
Today's dollop of disaster is Pygmalion, starring Wendy Hiller. Brought to you by our discerning wenches, Nina Berry, Cynthia Levin, Brenda Pontiff, and Beth Szymkowski.
Disaster to the Wench.
Welcome to Disaster to the Wench. I'm Brenda Pontiff, and I'm one of the executive producers of this show. And I love old movies. I love watching old movies with strong, bold, dynamic female leads, and I especially like watching these movies with my strong, bold, dynamic friends. But because of the pandemic, I can't do that anymore. In fact, about 2 months in, I was watching Gilda, and after it was over, I went outside and I had a 20-minute conversation with a squirrel in my backyard because I wanted to talk about sexism and the studio system. Now, this was a very engaged squirrel. I mean, occasionally this squirrel would get distracted by a bird, but it was a pretty good conversation. But I missed my friends, and I thought, why am I not using modern technology to watch a movie with my friends? So we're watching this movie together, and we're including you, the audience, and we're so glad you're here. So here's to you, and now I'd like for you to meet my fellow wenches.
I'm Nina Berry, movie maven and novelist.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Levin. I'm a stand-up comic, actress, writer, director, acting teacher who really just prefers to make fun of other people's work because I will not do my own.
Hi, I'm Beth Szymkowski. I'm a TV writer who is just really missing the idea of watching shows with my friends and having a glass of wine in the middle of the day. So cheers.
So our drinking game for Pygmalion, if the audience wants to join us, is going to be the words poor girl and good girl. And we warn you, be careful because you'll get pretty loaded in this movie.
Yes. So Shaw adapted this from his play. There are 3 writers that are not credited here as well that contributed. Notice David Lean, film editor, later to become the David Lean, film director.
What else did he direct?
Lawrence of Arabia.
Oh, right.
River Kwai.
Gracias.
Big stuff.
Good stuff.
Wow.
Anthony Asquith was the son of an earl. And he got into silent film, which was considered scandalous at the time, but became quite a good director. Directed a lot of plays as well.
Kind of totally appropriate for somebody like that to be directing a movie like this about class issues.
Yeah. Just saying, now royalty is entertainment, right? Now royalty can be actresses and things like that.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Just now as an actor.
Wait a minute, it says Cynthia Levin as a vicar. Hold on a second. I must have lived a past life. I didn't know about it.
And you're so good in this. You're so good in this. Well,
Fairly memorable.
Cynthia lived in London for 4 years, so she'll have a different take on this movie than the rest of us.
Yeah. It brings out even more humor.
I love that the original source material is a guy can't find a woman he likes enough, makes one, and then says, "We got to make her real because only the woman I created is the one who I could be with."
Yeah.
It's a little narcissistic.
Just a little. Now there's Wendy Hiller, our star. She was selected personally by Shaw for this role, and she went on to be in all of his plays for him. She was his favorite actress, actually, after he picked her for this role. And of course, she went on to become Dame Wendy Hiller and quite a star of the stage. With a few really good movie roles as well.
I wonder what it takes to become a dame. Just be known for a few minutes. A lot of dames out there.
I'm not sure.
I
And how did the word Dane get to have two totally different meanings like that? No?
Yeah.
I love this set. You know, like how it pulls back. You know, like look at look what we created. You know, and it just looks so fake.
You can totally tell it's painted, that background.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, but
yeah, they're not bothered.
Yeah. Well, you can tell this is much lower budget than a lot of the Hollywood movies we're used to.
Yeah, like all things British.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they make up for it with the good acting, you know?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. The thing about British actors is they're really, really good, right? But they treat it as a business, you know, like a job, as opposed to one doing it to become a movie star. So the money, they don't make big money. They just work like any day job, and they constantly work, and they're really good.
Yeah. I love how he's an ear here, basically, to start with. That's how we're introduced to him.
Looks like rain. Yeah, but stormy, ain't it? Yeah.
And again, our theme seems to be rain in every movie we've done. It starts with rain.
What can
Your fault.
Really ought to have got us a taxi by now.
Freddie Eynsford Hill. That's David Tree. Quite a big star, thanks to this movie. But then served in World War II and lost an arm and had to retire from acting. Became a farmer.
Oh my God. He got to be a man with one arm before he was a man with no arms. The British men are worthless when it comes to the lifting things, and see how they're ordering them around and stuff. There's way too much to say here.
Well, I think the exposition in this movie is great because you see Freddie right off the bat. He can't get a cab. He can't get a taxi, and that tells
he's
us
not
he's
the ideal man.
Yeah, he's weak.
No earthly use, really.
It's going to be prevalent throughout. There are no men that are really... Sorry.
No, it's true. The women are all the strong ones in this.
Right.
Absolutely.
As it should be. As it should.
Sixpence for you.
And I like that Eliza here, tells off the rich lady right away. You're stuck as a mother. Your son's classy.
Now don't you try and deceive me.
It was you who said it, Brenda. She's really entrepreneurial. Like, we see the spirit here. We see her intelligence and her vivacity.
Yes. And that's why I love Wendy Hiller in this role so much more than Audrey Hepburn in My Fair Lady. And I love Audrey Hepburn.
Agreed.
She's too vulnerable and too pretty and too delicate. And this is much more pleasing, I think, in terms of the character here.
Yeah.
That's
That's Scott Sunderland playing Colonel Pickering, who's one of the many alumni stage actors from Shaw's plays that shows up in this game. That's Ivor Barnard as the sarcastic bystander. That's his role.
I ain't done nothing wrong by speaking as a gentleman. I'm a good girl, I am, Selfie. What's your
Oh, I'm thirsty.
I never spoke to him except
Oh,
walking a
right.
flyer off me.
What's the good of fussing?
What's the row?
What'd she do?
There's a tech taking her down. Him over there.
That's tech means detective back then. I looked it
What
up.
do you want to take down my eyes tip for?
Good detective work.
You'll just show me what you wrote. How do I know if you took me down right?
Now, that is the wonderful Leslie Howard, as we all know, who actually took up acting as therapy after World War I. He was a veteran. He had shell shock. It was recommended as therapy for him. He went on to become, a star and quite an excellent actor.
Oh, but I meant no harm. Oh,
Well, I love that he's so good in this, and this is such a great role for him, and I understand why he was reluctant to do Ashley and Gone with the Wind, because that was such a wimpy character.
I make no charge.
That's so uninteresting compared to Higgins. He's very flawed.
Until I ask you, anyone can see the girl meant no harm.
This scene, I think, sets up the movie so well because, she shows some spirit. When she's confronted with the idea that somebody is taking down her words, and he's doing it accurately, she then still panics that somehow she used the word captain, and that's going to get her in trouble. And it just shows the class divisions and the power struggles right off the bat.
You were born in Liston Grove.
Absolutely, and I feel like this is a great location because all these different classes can naturally be all together, whereas normally they'd be separate. But you can see how they interact here. You're absolutely right.
For heaven's sake, stop making that noise. Come, no one's going to harm you. You've a perfect right to live where you please.
Parkland, for instance.
I'm a good girl, I am.
Oh, thirsty.
I'm going to get drunk early.
God, I'm wasted.
Well, who said I didn't? Blimey, you know everything, you do.
Where's your warrant?
I love that there's a food truck.
Yes.
They were ahead of their time.
Totally.
They're selling tacos in there.
And Covent Garden hasn't changed at all, since then.
India.
Is this a particular theater, Cynthia, that you know of, or is it just a...
No, Covent Garden is the square. It's like where there's all these shops, and there are still some like little flower carts and things like that about. And yeah, it's a shopping area now, and they also have music, and street performers go there, and tourists go there, and it's lovely. It's a beautiful old building that was the original center of London,
That's a devil.
and then it grew out from there,
Oh, excuse me. Are you looking for a cab?
I believe.
Oh, please, Clara.
I also love this scene because it's something we've seen in so many movies since then where the characters establishing their expertise. Like he can pick out everybody's accent. It's like the Bourne Identity scene where he's like, I know that guy over there is like 250 pounds and I could take him with 3 moves. And Legally Blonde, how she, goes in and is able to say everything about the fashion when she's trying to rip her off, the salesgirl's trying to rip her off. It's such a classic way that's used over and over again to show something about a character.
Thank you, teacher. Oh.
Yeah, even Colonel Pickering, like he's his own type of expert, but he's nice. He's like kinder to her than so it's all established.
The science of speech. That's my profession. Easy. Yes, it's also my hobby. You see, you can spot a Yorkshireman or an Irishman by his brogue.
Higgins was based on an actual phoneticist, a number of them, but one of them that was the most famous was notoriously cantankerous and difficult, so based on him.
Probably not as cute as Leslie Howard is.
Probably.
Woman,
Leave a girl alone. Leave a poor girl alone.
Oh, jeez.
A woman who utters
It'll be hard to keep up.
Yeah, she's not a victim, I swear.
Remember that you're a human being with a soul, the divine gift of articulate speech, and that your language is the language of Milton, Shakespeare, and the Bible. Don't sit there crooning like a bilious pigeon.
Oh!
Ow! Hems, what a sound!
I don't think the Bible was written in English.
I mean, he must mean the King James version, but yeah.
Well, in 3 months I could pass her off as a duchess at an ambassador's reception. No. Yes, I could even get her a job as a lady's maid.
You can see the idea, like in her face right here.
Yeah.
You could make me.
Yes, you squashed cabbage leaf. You disgrace to the noble architecture of these columns. You incarnate insult to the English language. I could pass you off as the Queen of Sheba. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't believe that, do you, Captain?
Well, everything is possible. I myself am a student of Indian dialects. Are you? Yes. Have you ever heard of Colonel Pickering, the author of Spoken Sanskrit? I am Colonel Pickering. No. Yes.
No.
Who are you? Henry Higgins. No. Yes,
No.
the author of Higgins' Universal Alphabet. You know, I came all the way from India to meet you. And I was
What a
just going
coincidence.
all the way to India to meet you.
No.
Where are you staying? No, you're not. You're staying at 27A Wimpole Street. Come on.
Oh, buy a flower, kind sir. I'm sure.
Yeah, really.
it's my lodging.
Oh, you liar. You just said you could change half a crown.
You want to be stuffed with nails, you will. Here, take the old blooming basket for 6pence.
Holy music, too.
A reminder.
To be kind.
Yep.
Yeah, that's really funny. So, the UK is, it's a matriarchy there. And so, even though the reason why there's so many women in this film, as you'll see, older women, is because they are the ones in power. And the men have always felt repressed by them and are always feeling challenged by them and always trying to prove themselves. So all they have, though, is education. So they're constantly arguing with their women in their lives, trying to, prove themselves to be smarter and win an argument of some sort. So anyway, this is where all their power comes from, the men. But the women are always in charge, and so they're never going to lose. You'll see. You'll see what I'm talking about. It's really funny.
Well, they're so much more emotionally mature in this movie than the
Who?
men.
Oh, the women.
The
Well,
women
they
are
are. So meaning they don't have to effort because they are already in power. They are already have all the power, so they don't have to reach for it, and that's why they're mature. You know, where the men are like, mama, mama, you know, like endlessly, you know, mama, come on, mama, you know, like they're, no, darling, don't stop playing games.
Obviously, Cynthia had great dating experiences in London.
This is what I've observed with all my friends, boyfriends, husbands, fathers. I'm telling you, this is not from 1 or 30 stories.
Notice the parrot. That's sort of like, she's like the parrot in some ways, but then of course she's much more than that. She's more than a repeater of English. She becomes much more.
I love that she, you know, in the last scene, she tried to like basically get a little bit more money out of him by saying, "Oh, I'm so poor," and he called her on it, which kind of shows that they're equals on some level.
Yes.
No, it's true.
And then she decided to take a cab. She's like somebody who likes to live a little when she has some cash.
Right. The lesson for us all.
Yeah. Enjoy
But she's
it.
careful enough. She's careful enough, like, she doesn't drink it away. She doesn't, like, she's entrepreneurial and, like, she keeps a lot of it for her plan.
Yeah.
But, yeah, she does enjoy. A lot of ways of showing sound here. They're trying to be visual with the idea of sound. So we get an ear, right? We get
I love the huge ear.
Yeah.
He's got a huge swab that he cleans it at night. He goes in and-
What did you say? You're not talking about me, Brenda, are you?
I immediately thought of Prince Charles. God bless him.
Amazing.
This movie's based on his ear.
Yeah. 24 distinct vowel sounds. Your 130 beat me. I can't hear any difference between most of them.
Oh, it comes from practice, you know.
Do you know, I rather fancied myself because I could pronounce 24 distinct vowel sounds. Good heavens. Your 130 beat me. I can't hear any difference between most
He's kind of small visually, but I love how Asquith is always moving the camera in small little ways to give you movement, sense of, you know, intimacy.
She says you'll be glad when you know what she's come about.
What I love about this scene is that there's two men basically comparing dick size by comparing how many vowel sounds they can do. I know more than you.
That's exactly it. That's the whole thing. It's the education is their power. Wisdom, intelligence, not wisdom, intelligence. Right.
Makes so much sense.
Yeah.
You can turn around as often as
Hilarious. Look at that. That statue head.
Mrs. What are prison fights like in England compared to prison fights in the U.S.? If it's all intellectual, I'd love to see a prison fight.
Yeah, it's basically a debate. It's just you know, they put on suits and they just debate each other.
You think a gentleman like Mr. Higgins guessed what you came in? You're proud, aren't you?
So Mrs. Pierce is played by Jean Cadell, or Cattle, who had a long career on stage. She mostly played sort of salty character parts. That's her natural Scottish accent here. My favorite accent in the show, in the movie.
Make no mistake.
Well,
Make no mistake.
shall we ask this object to sit down, or shall we...
Oh, this object. These are the things that make me cringe.
To pay like any lady.
What is it you want, my dear?
Very much treating
I want
her
to be
like
a
a
lady in a
non-person.
flash.
As much as she's showing that she is completely a person who has
They won't take
goals
dinner
and
for
desires.
talk more gently.
Because they're threatened by her.
What do you
And
say he could teach
you only try to keep down people you're threatened by.
I'm not asking any favors.
Well, Higgins is very immature and just sees people as props in a lot of ways throughout this film until close to the end. Really, he's fun, but he's really immature and stuck in a lot of ways.
Right. He's competitive.
Yes.
But they literally all are. That's why they're constantly competing constantly. You're like, can we just talk about flowers? Period. Do you know what I mean? We don't have to argue about flowers, do we?
Sit down, Miss Doolittle.
Do you have to be right about them? This is not about my personal life, by the way.
This is a nice moment when
How much
Pickering
you propose to pay me for the lesson?
calls her, asks her name. He's very kind, steps down. Like, you can see the change in her demeanor when he treats her like a person.
Yeah.
Well, you wouldn't have the nerve to ask the same for teaching me my own language as what you would for French. So I won't give you more than a shilling.
He's very savvy here too. Like, really
I,
smart.
I'll take
And
it.
good reasoning, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Pickering, a shilling to this girl's worth 60 or 70 pounds to a millionaire. It's handsome, it's enormous, it's the biggest offer I've ever had.
£60? What are you talking about? I never offered you £60.
Hold your tongue.
But I ain't got £60. Gerald, nobody's going to touch your money.
Someone's going to touch you with a broomstick if you don't stop sniveling.
Who's
Sit
going
down,
to touch your
will you?
money?
Or anyone would think you was my father.
Higgins, I'm interested. What about that boast of yours that you could pass her off as a duchess at an ambassador's reception?
Well, what about it?
I'll say you're the greatest teacher alive if you make that good. I'll bet you all the expenses of the experiment you can't do it, and I'll pay for the lessons.
More with the competitiveness you were talking about, Cynthia.
Yeah,
Bet.
sit down.
But also him rescuing her a little bit, saying he's going to pay for her lessons, so she
Yes.
doesn't have
Almost
to.
irresistible.
Yeah.
So he's helping her in his own little way, but giving her the dignity.
So horribly dirty.
He gives her dignity over and over again, whereas Higgins tries to take it away.
I washed my face
As
now
much as
before I
he
come,
can.
I did.
Yeah.
I shall make a
Absolutely.
duchess
And
of this Gregor
the
tale.
bet incentivizes Higgins to take her on, so he's helping her that
6
way.
months in
Yeah.
3, if she has
Yeah.
a good ear and a quick tongue, I'll take her anywhere and pass her off as anything. We start today, now, this minute. Mrs. Pierce, take her away and clean her. Take off all her clothes and burn them.
Ugh.
Bring up and order some new ones. Wrap her up in brown paper till they come.
You're no gentleman, you ain't to talk of such things.
I do that with all my
Look here,
guests.
I am. You know what the
Good
master
girl.
is, all I do.
We want none of your slump prudery here, young woman. You've got to learn to
Oh.
behave like a duchess. Here, take her away, Mrs. Pierce. If she gives any trouble, wallop.
No, call the police, I will. No place to put her.
Put her in the ash can.
You can't dig a girl up like that as if you're picking a pebble off the beach.
Again, the
Why not?
woman here is
She'll
the,
be mad.
like,
Yeah.
There you are.
what are you
The girl
doing
who
here?
probably says,
Like, treat her like
Who would marry
not a
me?
thing.
By George, Eliza,
They
before I've done
are
with
in
you,
charge,
the streets will be
always.
strewn with the bodies of men
They're constantly
shooting
taking the
themselves.
piss out of the men. You'll notice throughout the entire movie, the men are all about taking the piss out of
Mad,
them.
am I? Very well, Mrs. Pierce, don't order those things. Throw her out.
Stop, Mr. Higgins. I won't allow it. Go home to your mother, Gerald. I ain't got no mother.
Very well, she ain't got no mother. Very well, then the girl doesn't belong to anybody. She's not any use to anybody but me.
What's to become of her? Is she to be paid anything to be sensible, Mr. Higgins?
Now, what on earth will she do with money? She'll get her food and her clothes. She'll only drink if you give her money.
It's a lie. Nobody ever saw a sign of liquor on me.
Doesn't it occur to you, Higgins, that the girl has some feelings?
Oh, I don't think so. Have you, Eliza?
I got my feelings the same as anyone else.
See the difficulty, Pickering?
What difficulty?
To get us to talk grammar.
I don't want to talk grammar. I want to talk like a lady. Will you please keep
Lady.
What's to become of her when you've finished with her teaching?
What's to become of her if we leave her in the gutter?
Right there is a good point.
Well,
You
when
know?
we finish with her, we throw her
Yeah.
back in the gutter.
You've no feeling art in you, you haven't. I'm going away. I've had enough of this. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Here, Eliza. Eliza. Come here, Eliza.
There's also a lot of threatening of social standing going on. You know, if you're the help and you take somebody like her and raise her up to talk like you, what does that
How do I
put,
know
where does
what
that
might
put
be
you? 'Cause right now there is a social strata and Eliza's at the lowest, and that older woman is not, is above her. And once Eliza can talk like her,
Boxes of them, Eliza. You shall
Yeah, but if
know
you have the power to have done it, you know, I'm the one who did it,
Now listen
so
to me,
then
Eliza.
you'll always be, you know,
You're
the
going to live
winner,
here for 6 months.
that you
Learn
did
to
it.
speak
That's
beautifully like a lady in
ego.
a florist shop. If you're good and do whatever you're told, you shall sleep in a proper bedroom, have lots
I feel
to
like
eat.
Higgins, to some
Money
extent,
to buy
sees through
chocolates
the
and take
falseness
rides.
of the class divide because he thinks it's all
If
about
you're
how you
naughty
speak,
and
but
idle,
really it's about her
sleep in
self-esteem
a
and how
back
she
kitchen
feels
under
about
that
herself
Beatles.
that transforms her
Being
life.
walloped by
But
Mrs. Pierce
Yep.
with a broomstick.
but he, on a surface level,
The end of 6
doesn't
months, you shall
care
go to Buckingham
because he's
Palace.
rich and he's male and
carriage.
he's upper class, so he doesn't have to care. But
If
But
the
I think
king
they
finds
do
out you're not a
think
lady,
it is
you'll be
all
taken by
about
the guards to the
education. I
Tower
mean,
of
that
London,
is the
where your
highest,
head will be cut off
you
as a
know,
warning to other presumptuous flower girls.
makes
whatever.
sense.
If you are not found out, you will receive a present of 7 and 6pence to start life with as a lady in a shop. If you refuse this offer, you will be a most ungrateful and wicked girl, and the angels will weep for you. Now are you satisfied, Pickering? Can I put it more fairly, Mrs. Pierce? Bundle her off to the bathroom.
Bundle
You're
her
a great
off.
bully, you are. And I won't stay here if I don't like it. I never asked to go to Buckingham Palace, I didn't. If I'd known what I was letting myself in for, I wouldn't have come here. I've always been a good girl. I am not
Good girl, good girl.
Before I come, I did.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I shall make a...
I don't have any more chocolate milk left.
Oh, no, turn that so I've never had a bath in my life.
this is a weird scene, a very weird scene.
this scene disturbs me so much. To me, it's probably the most disturbing because it's like trying to bathe a dog,
Yes.
and there's no real humanity between Mrs. Pierce and her. And Eliza, who shows so much spunk in so many other ways,
attachment here.
Could it be afraid of the bath? You know, I think it's just an odd choice.
I'll be a good child. No, good.
Yeah, this is not in the original play. The ball scene are additions, and I feel like this is in a different spirit than the rest of the play to see her.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure why they would have done this, though. I'm not sure why because they don't show anything later as to why she was so resistant. Oh, look at her, Mrs. Pickering, is that her name?
The wire brush.
He cannot wait to scrape her back.
I think they think this is funny. Like, I think I don't agree that it's funny.
It's weird.
But I think they think this is comical, farcical, but it's
Yeah, because there's no other reason for it. It's not grounded in anything.
Yeah, it's a little tittillating, maybe.
Is it?
But
to who?
She's bathing.
Nina, darling.
Not to me. Cynthia. Eliza in the bath, but I do think that there's, like in 1938, this would have been a little risque.
Yeah.
Sort of like my grandmother and me when I was 7. She used to put that bubble thing on my head, this plastic thing. You remember to keep the soap out of your eyes, and then she had me stand and scrape me up with the good times. I'd rather be dirty, much rather be dirty.
I was gonna say it's been a year since I've been to a spa, so it actually kind of looked good to me.
Are you a man of good character where women are?
Get thrown around in the.
Someone to scrub my back.
Get a massage.
Yeah.
Very frequently. Well, I haven't. I find
Breakfast is ready, sir.
I find that the moment I let a woman make friends with me, she becomes jealous, exacting, and a confounded nuisance. So I'm a confirmed old bachelor and likely to remain one. Coffee? Thanks.
His mother made him breakfast and lunch and dinner until he got this woman to do it for him. He's never had to do it himself, not since he was born. I mean, never.
I taught scores of American millionaires.
Sort of the setup.
George Bernard Shaw had affairs with women, but he didn't have sex with them. So he'd have these passionate attachments to women, but didn't have sex with them. So there's an element of that here in Higgins, where there's sexless. He's also, Shaw was very interested in male-female friendship. There's some of that going on, too.
I mean, it sounds like he might have been gay.
Well, that's, I mean, there's no proof, but that's the theory.
Yeah, I mean, I dated a guy
Loved
like
women,
that.
but not didn't love women, yeah.
A lot of playwrights are, it seems. I mean, whether they could come out in that time period or not, it seems like a lot of them were.
It begins with the same letter as that.
I'm sure all those women that they dated felt great about themselves.
Yeah.
Shaw was married to a woman for a very long time, and apparently they never slept together. So
yeah, well, that's a sign.
That means something.
Yeah.
To be very particular with this girl as to her personal cleanliness.
Yes, certainly. Most important.
I learned early on as a theater major that the guys in theater were not
to use it.
most of them were not going to be my boyfriend.
Yeah.
Great friends.
Yeah. So much fun.
I know.
Something went wrong.
Yeah.
I like here that she's correcting him for how his table manners, basically, putting the porridge pot on the table.
Yeah, we see what a child he is and how he needs correction, even though he's busy correcting other
Talking with his mouth full. He's...
Oh, don't burn that. We'll keep that as a souvenir.
And I think Mrs. Pierce is a bit of a Pygmalion to Eliza, as well as Pickering and Higgins. Like they all, and Mrs. Higgins, they all help her get where she's going.
Yes, she's firmly persuaded that I'm a
If you put it that way, Nina, it's interesting because it's almost like we all do that. We all sort of try to create, like all of our boyfriends or all of our girlfriends, we try to make them into the people we want them to be. And we always, it never works out, and they always say, don't try to change somebody, but that's all we do. We Pickering at them.
We make it something interesting out of it. I was about to go. No, I mean,
Well, and ultimately she outgrows him, right? Because, yeah, she's doing her own growing. He wants to control her, but
yeah,
you can't control people.
Professor Higgins?
Now, this is Wilfred Lawson playing Doolittle. played a lot of scene-stealing, eccentric, or even maniacal characters. He's really good at that sort of maniacal laugh. He played Sweeney Todd on stage.
Brought up in Hounslow, Mother Welsh, I should imagine.
Perfect Sweeney Todd, yeah. Perfect.
What do you want, Doolittle?
What do you want?
I want my daughter. That's what I want.
Well, of course you do. I'm glad to see you have some spark of family feeling.
This whole scene to me is like an indictment of
Your
men.
daughter's upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
Here,
It's a horrible
take it
scene.
away at once.
The conversation is...
What? Look here, Governor. Is this reasonable? Is it fair?
I feel like he's trying to be funny about a
belongs
thing
to
that
me.
men sell women,
got it.
essentially, for their own interests.
Where do I come in?
How dare you come here and try to blackmail me? You sent her here on purpose.
No.
This is a plot, a plant, an attempt to extort money by threats. I shall telephone the police.
Have I asked you for a brass bargain? I'll leave it to the gentleman here. Have I said a word about money?
What else did you come for?
But I'll tell you if you don't let me get a word in. I'm willing to tell you. I'm wanting to tell you. I'm waiting to tell you.
You know, Pickering, this fellow has a certain natural gift of rhetoric. Observe the rhythm of his native wood notes wild. I'm willing to tell you. I'm wanting to tell you. I'm waiting to tell you. The Welsh strain in him. How do you know the girl's here if you didn't send her?
Strain.
But she sent back her luggage, Governor.
I heard about it. Luggage? What luggage?
Like it's a virus.
Is it a musical instrument? A few pictures?
It's funny because that parallelism is a big trick of
And a
politicians.
bird guide. She said,
Got an epic mustache.
What was I to think from that? I ask you as a parent, what was I to think?
So you came to rescue her from worse than death?
Variant.
Yes,
Suddenly,
that's right, yes, sir.
they are bringing, you know, it's
Yes.
been a couple times now that we've had
This is
to
Eliza's
be concerned
father.
about
He's come to
Higgins
rescue her
having the
from
right,
worse than death.
not wanting to do dirty by her
Give her to him.
and besmirch her.
Take her away, Mr. Higgins. How can he? He told me to burn all her clothes.
That's right. I can't get her to go through the streets if she's a blooming monkey, can I? Where's the clothes she come in?
It's like the writer's
Did
going
I
a long way to
burn?
prove
But
to
did
you
your
that he
missus
doesn't
hear?
have a prurient interest in
Right.
Eliza.
It isn't
Which I would
Governor.
think, you know, having
You
a
and
single
me.
woman moving with a
We're
single
men of the
man,
world, aren't we?
Oh, we're men of the world, are
Yeah.
we? You better
you would
go.
automatically
Yes.
think that.
I should
Yep.
think so, indeed.
The floor is yours, Doolittle.
I thank you kindly, Governor. To tell you the truth, I've taken a sort of fancy to you.
Well done.
I love that.
And if you want the girl, I'm not so certain having them back home. But what
That's
we
good
might
body
do is
language,
join a
Leslie
race.
Howard.
Well, and I'm assuming his
Regarding the
breath
life
is
of a
just
young
filled
woman,
with
she's a
liquor, you
fine
know.
and
Yeah. And that was actually
As a
the first bit of
daughter,
physical
she's
comedy,
like
and every time they do physical comedy movie in this movie, which is rare, but it works so well. It's hilarious. I love it.
You're the last man in the world to expect me to let her go for nothing. You're one
I mean,
of the
Leslie
straight
Howard
ones. Oh,
directed
I
a
can
bunch
see
of
that.
theater as well as co-directing this film.
Uh-huh.
I bet
What's a
that a lot of the
five-pound
physical
note to you?
business is something that he's really good at.
And what's Eliza? To me?
Yeah, it's all him doing it, by the way. Nobody else is doing
I
the
think you
physical
ought to know,
comedy but him.
Mr. Mr. Higgins' intentions are entirely honorable.
Of course they are, Governor. Of course they are.
Governor.
If I thought there wasn't, I'd ask 50.
Oh, that line just makes me hurt.
You mean say
No.
you sell your daughter
It's
for
awful.
50?
Funny, but it's
No, not in a general sort
like,
of
yeah,
way, I wouldn't.
I'd still prostitute my
But to
daughter.
oblige a gentleman
totally.
like you, I'd do a good deal.
Really
that's for sure.
reprehensible.
Have you no morals?
Sort of a trickster character in that he's turning your ideas about
Well, no,
class
but you
a
use
little
it for
upside
it.
down. But he's
I don't
he's a
mean
terrible
no harm.
person.
Yeah.
But if Eliza's
Because
going
up
to
until
obey
now,
all
you're
this,
kind of
well, why not me,
thinking
too?
that this is making fun of Higgins for being a jerk and
morals,
being,
you know, it's
you
positive crime.
not
Yeah.
seeing Eliza, and then you
Why do
actually
you
have,
feel
when you
so
have a
much
representative of that
justice?
class
That's
other
right.
than
That's all I
Eliza,
say.
he's
It's your
awful.
father's are.
He's probably the worst guy in the
Well, I
whole
know
movie.
the feeling, yet it hardly
Yeah.
seems right.
No, don't look at it that way.
I feel like the movie really is an indictment of
Well,
men
now,
and how men
goodness
treat
no.
women to some extent,
I
and
ask you,
how
what am
it's
Well, what are you?
even Pickering
I'm one of the
is not,
undeserving
appreciate
poor. That's what I am.
Eliza in the way that she should be
But think-
to the same
think what that
extent.
means
So
to
it's
men.
like the women are
It
the
means
ones
he's up
that
against middle-class
understand
morality
things
all the
better.
time.
The men are preoccupied with these terrible
If there's anything
things. It's
going, I
selling
puts in
and
for a bit.
buying.
It's always the same story. You're undeserving, so you can't have any. And yet my needs is as great as the most deserving widows that ever got money out of 6 different charities in 1 week for the death of the same husband. I don't need less than the deserving men, I need more. I don't eat less hearty than he does. And I drink a lot more.
Just putting all the women down, all the widows down.
Down, don't play that game on me. I'm playing straight with you. I ain't
Well, if you're a
pretending to
con
be
artist, you
deserving,
think
I'm
everyone else is
undeserving.
a con artist?
I mean,
100%,
I'm undeserving, I like it.
Peter thinks everybody's cheating on him.
Would you try and do a man out the price of his own daughter? What he's brought up, he's fed, he's clothed by the sweat of his brow, until she growed big enough to be interesting to you two gentlemen.
Ew.
Yeah. I know.
Be interesting.
Yeah.
It's 4 pounds
And
unreasonable.
two men.
I puts it to you, I leaves it to you. Pickering,
Here, shall we give him a fiver? He'll make bad uses, I'm afraid.
ah, swelp me, Governor, don't be fried. I shan't save it, spare it to live idle on it. There won't be a penny of it left for Monday. Just one good spree for myself and the missus.
This is irresistible. Come on, let's give him 10.
No, thank you, Governor. £10 is a lot of money. Makes a man feel prudent like. And then goodbye to happiness.
That's a
Just
really
give me
rude
one
gesture,
hour,
isn't it?
Not a penny more, not a penny less.
You sure you won't take 10?
No, not now, Governor.
Come on.
Look, I didn't trust
Not
him.
now.
Time, perhaps. Thank you kindly.
He took it.
He doesn't want to not be poor.
Thank you, Governor's both. Pardon, miss.
John, don't you know your own daughter?
Blimey, it's Eliza. I never thought she'd clean up so good looking. She's a credit to me, ain't she, Governor? She'll soon pick up your free and easy ways.
Yeah, I'm a good girl, I am. And I won't pick up
Oh,
your
God,
free
more
one.
drinking.
Eliza, if you say again you're a good girl, your father shall take you home.
You don't know my father. What he come here for?
He's sick of it, too.
Get drunk on.
Well, what else would I want money for? Put it in plate in church, I suppose. Don't give me none of your lip.
Oh, he's going to pull his belt off.
Give none of these gentlemen up.
His pants are going to fall. What's he going to do then?
See?
Have you any further advice to give her, Doolittle, before you go? Your blessing, for instance?
No, Governor, not me. I'm not such a mug as to put up my kids to all I know myself. If you want Eliza's mind improved, Governor, do it yourself. With a strap.
With a
So
strap.
long, gentlemen.
That's why the belt almost came out. Yeah.
Comedy music.
What music?
It's comedy music, like that transition, but
We're heading into the
Montage.
Montage, yeah.
Like
every
Bob.
movie needs a montage.
I love her clothes, though. Look how cute she looks.
Schoolgirl.
I want to wear that.
As in
I was going to wear that today had I had it.
I love the tie.
Yeah, the
Eyes help
montage.
me think better.
This whole sequence is not in the play at all. They don't show her training in the play, and they don't show it at all.
stays
So
mainly in the plains.
this is all new.
Mainly in the plains.
And this, of course, inspired the great song in the musical.
The rain in Spain stays mainly on the plains.
I want to sing it.
As unhappy as Shaw was about this, he would have spun in his grave if he had seen the musical.
I want you to put them in your mouth. Yes?
What's
Yeah,
that? Say it
the
again, Brenda.
phrases.
3.
I said if Shaw had seen the musical, he would have spun in his grave.
West of these islands is
Very
not
unhappy,
smooth flowing
but
in a westerly
the
direction.
musical took a lot more liberties, and yeah, he would have been furious. He was dead by then, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
I watched
did.
My Fair Lady the other day. Sorry, but I just didn't enjoy it. I just couldn't finish it. It's not my thing. I was just like, no, this is too good. Comparatively, I just couldn't watch it.
Hereford,
Yeah, no, I prefer this. I prefer this over the musical.
It's interesting how My Fair Lady is pretty much taken exactly from this movie, not from the play. Yeah.
in Hampshire, Hereford, and Harford.
These tongue twisters he has her say were all written by the producer of the movie, Gabriel Pascal, and Shaw loved them. So he included the Rain in Spain, that was Gabriel Pascal's, Hartford, Hereford, and Hampshire, all from him. He was quite a brilliant producer. He produced all of Shaw's plays that were made into movies.
That's cool. That's me every night, just learning one thing. Door opens from the inside. Door opens from the inside.
I love this clown, like, ah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ugh, that's literally me my whole life. I wonder if I've just learned too much.
How did you do?
Bad, bad, bad. Do it again. You
Camera's
are
tilted
trying.
here to show how intense it is. Like,
That's not good.
Right.
Eliza. Not bad.
I love that.
Now's the time to try her out on somebody. Well, I know. My mother.
There's that.
Henry,
Hello, dear.
what are you doing here today? This is my at-home day. You promised not to come.
Oh, bother.
Love this.
I love that. But I just come
This
here
is
on
just
purpose.
so
Yes,
apropos, by the way. So perfect.
Jealous picked you up.
No.
This is Marie Lore. She's an Australian actress who did well on the British stage and also appeared in a number of Shaw's
I can't
plays.
waste my time with young women. They're all such idiots anyhow.
You know what to do if
Such
you really
idiots.
love me, Henry?
Get married, I suppose.
No. Stop fidgeting. And take your hands out of your pockets.
Ah.
Don't sit on that table. You'll break it.
He
Come and
is the
tell me
child.
about the gas.
Uh-huh.
You know.
Look here, she's coming to see you this afternoon.
Really? I don't remember asking her.
No, you didn't.
I feel like Mrs. Higgins is one of the most sane people in this.
She's just a
in this
common
movie.
flower girl. I
Totally.
picked her up in Covent Garden.
She seems to have the
Right here.
total beat on what her
Right.
son is like.
I've taught her
Yeah.
to speak properly. She'll stick to
Yeah.
two subjects only, the weather and everybody's health. All that.
Oh, that's a blessing anyway.
Well, it is, and it isn't.
Now, what do you mean by that?
You see, dear, I've got her pronunciation all right, but you've got to consider not only how the girl pronounces, but what she pronounces.
Mrs. and Miss Ainsford Hill, Mr. Ainsford Hill.
Oh, heavens.
Oh,
Dear, Freddie,
How's it go?
you know my son.
Oh.
My son Henry.
Oh. The door opens on the inside. I mean,
Mr. Hill.
Enchanted.
Mr.
He's so
Hill.
rude.
Your celebrated son. I've always so longed to meet you, Professor Higgins.
Yes, I've seen your face somewhere before. I haven't the ghost of a notion where.
That's Everly
But
Gregg
that's
playing
down.
Mrs. Knightsford Hill.
I'm sorry to say my celebrated son has no manners. You mustn't mind him. I don't
You know, this is a movie where women over 40 can get work.
The Reverend
Well-
Mrs. Birchwood.
the British women really do get a lot of respect. I mean, it's a real thing, and I think you'll find it in a lot of their films as well.
We were
They're
interrupted, damn it.
Yeah,
They're
they
equals.
work after a certain age, unlike here.
100%, and they're not getting plastic surgery.
Anyone else? Sit down.
Will you excuse me? Colonel Pickering.
They don't even wear makeup, to be fair.
What are you doing
This is
in
my
hat?
favorite. Wait.
Colonel Pickering, I must know. What is the exact position in Wimpole Street? Is this gal a servant? If not, what is she? Major and Mrs.
My
Rawcroft.
dear Mrs. Higgins, I really must tell you, the whole thing is extraordinary. My dear, this is the most absorbing experiment I've ever tackled. Yes, this girl regularly fills our lives, doesn't she? Yes, we're always talking Eliza, teaching Eliza, dressing Eliza.
What?
She has the most amazing
What?
idea you've
What?
ever heard of. Yes, yes, like a
Eliza?
parrot. Dear Mrs. Higgins, I assure you that girl is a genius. She plays the piano perfectly. I've taken her to European dialects, continental dialects, African dialects, everything. She's they are alive, and 6 months ago she's never as if she's done them all her life. You see?
Oh, yes. It's quite clear to me. Doolittle.
Look at Freddie. Ooh.
Oh, love that hat. I'd wear it every day if I could.
She looks
I think she's
fabulous.
missing some sheep, though.
I like the door locking. I think that's kind of, you're in.
Yeah, exactly.
You're trapped.
Show's on.
Yep.
How do you do, Mrs. Higgins?
The H's are so careful.
I might be quite well, my dear. I'm delighted to see you.
Delight.
Colonel Pickering.
It's like she's had a lobotomy at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's young Frankenstein. He just created her. She's just fallen off the operation bed.
Stick to the weather and your health.
Her fear is so palpable, but she's still so brave
Mrs.
to
Hill,
do it.
Miss Doolittle.
Oh,
I feel sure we've met before, Miss
I'd be scared to
Doolittle.
death.
I remember your eyes. How do you
None of them
do?
recognize her from the theater.
Clara, how do you do?
You know, it's almost like me during my meeting my flatmates, friends, and having lunch with them. Sunday, you know, what do they call it? Sunday roast. That's like trying to like keep my forks and knives together. And a right hand left. Everybody knows how to cut. I'm like, I don't know. I'm not kidding. It was really scary.
It can be intimidating if you haven't done it.
It is.
Will it rain, do you think?
You're representing
The rain
America.
is
You want to
vain.
try to,
They say.
Not be a
There's
dick.
rain in the plain.
Total idiot.
They say.
She is by far the most interesting person in the scene, though. Like, the party is dull otherwise.
Yeah.
Like, you get, what a middle-class, boring gathering until Eliza
Yeah.
like shows up.
Hardly ever, Miss Doolittle. Oh, flip on it.
What's wrong with that, young man? I bet I got it right.
Killing.
Killing.
Oh, excuse me.
Oh, blink, 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 blink.
The most British thing I've ever seen.
It's my favorite.
Yeah, I love it.
Everybody try to think of something to say.
I know, Cole, there's so much influenza about. It runs right through our family every spring. My aunt died of influenza.
Oh.
But it is my belief as how they done the old woman in.
Do you see how she's
I love
sort of
that.
took the
I love
steering
that.
wheel? Yeah.
Done her in.
Again, it's way more interesting than anything else anyone has ever said
Why
in
should
this
she die
room.
of influenza when she come through diphtheria?
Well, it's all about appropriateness there. Sensible.
Yeah, well, it
Being
also shows
sensible
that-
and appropriate.
Well, it shows how sort of vapid
saw her.
the
With my
middle class,
own
upper class society is. Like, they're not talking about anything of interest.
No feelings.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
all thought she was dead. But my father, he kept ladling gin down her throat till she come to so sudden that she licked the bowl off the spoon.
There's the vicar. That's me. That was me. Past life.
What cause
Look, he's
would
coming
it be
closer.
That strength in her have to die of influenza
Trying to get around her hat. Sorry, darling. What'd you say?
because of her new straw hat that should have come to me.
Well,
Somebody pinched it. What I say is, them what pinched it, done her in. Done her in.
could you tell me? No, just the news playing, Vicar.
But you surely don't believe that your aunt was killed, do I not? Them she lived with would have killed her for a hat pin, let alone a hat. But it couldn't have been right for your father to have poured spirits down her throat like that. Now that might have killed her, not her. Gin was mother's milk to her. Besides, he'd poured so much down his own throat that he knew the good of it.
Oh, how terrible for you.
Oh, it did no harm, what I could see. He was always more agreeable when he had a drop in. When he was out of work,
The mother.
used to give him
I do like her.
and tell him to go out and not come home until he drunk himself cheerful and loving like.
Charming.
Women has to make their husbands drunk to make them fit to live with. What are you sniggering at?
I'm good at that.
The new slang, you do it so awfully well.
If I was doing it proper, what was you laughing at? I said anything I oughtn't.
No, not a thing, Miss Doolittle. No.
That's a mercy, anyhow. What I always said is...
Puts it
I
back.
love that this is trying to highlight that she can change the way
I
she
must
speaks,
go
but
now.
there are other issues about polite society.
Goodbye.
It's a whole other level of learning.
Higgins. So glad.
And
to have
you know,
met you.
she'll get there
Goodbye, my dear.
eventually.
Goodbye.
But still, she's way more fun having to not
Goodbye,
following the
Colonel
conventions.
Pickering.
Yeah.
Good. Goodbye, all.
Excuse me, Miss Doolittle, but would you be walking across the park? Because if so,
Walk? Not bloody likely. I'm going in a taxi.
Bloody.
First
Much
use of
like-
the word bloody in a movie.
You know, and that's the big swear word.
Terrible slang at the time.
And
Even
still
now,
today,
Oh,
a lot of people are not comfortable with it.
I shall never be able to bring
In the UK.
myself to
It's
use
the F word.
It is, but it's worse, actually.
Oh, don't.
I think it's worse.
It isn't compulsory, you know.
Well, the advertising campaign in England for this movie was Miss Pygmalion, like, are you going to miss it? Not asterisk likely. They were implying bloody in the advertising. They couldn't print it.
Poor girl.
Poor girl.
Call the whole thing.
Nope.
Nonsense.
Poor girl.
I said I'd pass
Fine.
the gun snipe over the Duchess, and pass her off as the Duchess I will. Here. You see that? It's an invitation from the Transylvanian Embassy. I'm going to take her there. You're mad. I tell you, pick that girl to do
mad?
anything. Eliza,
He can charm a vampire.
They really think highly of her. They just don't realize it. Like, that girl could do anything.
They identify her as
Just like
super
you do another
intelligent.
chance.
You know, from the beginning they talk about her intelligence.
Will you work? Good. No. Do it again.
I'll try.
No. I told you 500 times.
I like him in a little jumper like that, don't you? A little cardigan. Totally adorable.
He's so skinny.
No.
Yes, he is. He's a slight man.
I'm Mr. Freddie Hill, to see Miss Doolittle.
I'll inquire, sir.
Thanks. Sorry, ma'am.
I would love to play that part of the guy.
He's engaged.
Oh,
Funny.
Miss Doolittle.
look at his soft shoulders in that robe.
Why can't
Oh,
you-
another atypical situation. Not atypical, typical.
He's here again.
Oh, sorry, ma'am.
Her shoulders
Come on
are
now.
wider.
One, two, three.
You can take him in a fight.
Good at curtsying.
Miss Beth. Now listen carefully, Eliza. How kind of you to let me come. Now listen. Say,
How kind of you to let me come.
How kind of you to let me come.
oh, it's Mr.
I know. He's here again.
He's here again.
I love all these scenes of him training her, but I would love to see the scenes where he's trying to explain what you can and can't talk about in class, classy society.
Yeah, that would be
That's
great.
way more interesting
Agreed.
than how you say your H's.
That's really funny.
Totally.
Don't say anything of substance because that, might offend someone.
Right.
Talk about the weather. Here's why you have to talk about the weather.
Yeah, not death or alcohol.
Yeah.
Well, basically explain high society to her, which would be quite
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
Silent drinking is one of the
There it is.
Again, none of this was in the play.
How do you dress an ambassador?
So Shaw deliberately took out the sort of more romantic, interesting parts. So he took out this, and this was not in the play, and the ball was not in the play. He was
What's a romantic part that he took out?
well, the part that would show the transformation, or the part like in the ball, where it's more princessy, like a whole princess scene. He didn't show that, and he didn't want to show her. He just wanted to show her boom being good at it.
Got it.
Now then, Eliza, we start all over again from the beginning.
None of this feels like it's growing toward the romantic liaison at all.
You don't think so? I do.
Well, in the play, Shaw never meant for them to be a romantic couple. It
Right.
was actor playing Professor Higgins that kind of added some facial expressions and suggestions at the very end of the play where that started to catch on.
Yeah.
Shaw was very unhappy about it because he
Got
didn't
that.
want them to be a couple.
You can do it.
He's deliberately trying to undercut romantic tropes, but people want them so much
Right.
Yeah.
that they add them in spite of the playwright.
Right.
Come, Higgins, be reasonable.
I mean, to me, he played it from the very beginning. I saw that he liked her, and that's why he wanted to. He was challenged by her, threatened by her. He was, she mattered to him.
Did you ever see the light?
I agree that she mattered to him, absolutely. I didn't think he was romantically interested in Shaw's version, but in this version, maybe.
No, in this version, I'm talking about.
Yeah. We got our glow up here.
Oh, I haven't had a mani-pedi in a year.
No.
Half almost.
I don't believe that she would be that uncomfortable. I think she would just be loving it.
Mud there.
Well, with him over your head, maybe,
Aren't you ready yet? Almost.
yakking at you.
Nervous?
The mask
Yes,
on.
ready, aren't you? No, not a bit of it.
Although the toes, it could be
Not a
rough.
bit of it.
Yeah.
So this was all written for the film. And is, we all remember it from My Fair Lady. Wow.
Yeah, and I think it's fun. I like it. I love I love this character. I love how we watch him get out, and we find out who he is immediately. And
It's very
it's fun.
cinematic. It's very cinematic as well.
Yes.
I mean, in the play would be pretty expensive and hard in the play to. You could do
Yeah,
it.
agree, 100%. Yeah, and less grand. Yeah.
Yeah, too expensive in the play, really, and but it creates great suspense. This.
Oh yeah, you're kind of going, oh, is she going to mess up? Yeah.
But I'm your pupil, your first pupil, your best and greatest pupil. I've made your name famous.
This part was written for this actor, Esme Percy, written by Shaw himself for it. He studied acting under Sarah Bernhardt. He was in a lot of plays by Shaw.
I have not your imposing appearance.
He actually lost an eye in 1920, and I don't know which one, but one of those is a fake eye.
At these international parties. You
It's
can
the
place
Peter
a man
Falk
anywhere
School
in
of
London the
Acting.
moment he opens his mouth. I can place a man anywhere in Europe.
Excuse me, sir. I want it upstairs. Her Excellency cannot understand...
And by the way, I'm very gay and attracted to you. Mm-hmm. Talk to you soon.
Who pretends he cannot speak or understand English. He cannot deceive me. À tout à l'heure, mon vieux.
Is that Kafafi fellow really an expert? My best pupil. But heaven help the master who's judged by his disciples. But if you beat your lousy, we're done.
Leslie Howard cleans up nice, too.
Oh, rubbish, that idiot.
He's cute.
You'll never
They're skinny.
understand why Scarlett O'Hara would go for him and not Clark Gable.
Agreed.
I never got that.
Well, Eliza,
Look
Looks
at
so
her.
pretty here.
now we're in for it.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
He's like from another planet, though.
I so desperately want to see the scenes of her seeing herself in the mirror, the scenes of her prepping for this.
Getting dressed.
Yeah, just all of it.
Yeah, the emotion behind it.
Yeah, the emotion behind it. This is
You're
her
in.
big night too.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
How they're staring at her so much.
Mm-hmm. I mean, because she really is acting like she's from Mars. And so they're like,
Which is kind of perfect for upper crust.
yeah.
How do you do, Colonel Dixie?
How do you do?
Oh,
May I present Miss Elizabeth Doolittle?
That's Violet Van Broo
How
playing the
kind of
ambassador.
you to let me come. Oh, not at all.
Who is that girl?
Good evening.
Oh, Professor, good evening. Who is the charming girl you brought? Is she your relation?
Not of mine, no.
She has such a faraway look, as if she always lived in a garden.
So she has. A sort of garden. That is one thing I have observed about the English, Duchess. And that is...
Yes, I adore observing the English.
That's
Let's
Irene
go there
Brown
now.
playing the
Come
Duchess.
along,
She's also in the red shoes.
Oh, dear, I'm such a bore about the English.
Again, another funny, clever woman.
Like every ambassador. Oh, look, there's dear old Lily Fantail with a whole of few gardens.
I think they should remake this movie so many women in Hollywood
He
could get
introduced
a
himself as your pupil.
job.
Is he any good?
He's so
He can learn a
nice.
language in a fortnight. Knows dozens of them. The sure mark of a fool.
Your Excellency is interested in Miss Doolittle?
You see, all the men are made to be, you know,
Could you
just
find out who
ridiculous,
she is?
foolish.
Lord Wilsham and Lady Wilsham.
I feel rather like Noah standing on the bridge watching the loading of the ark. You know, it was everything.
Tell me more about your Greek gentleman friend,
A gentleman. He's the son of a clerk and a watchmaker. He speaks English so villainously that he dare not utter a word of it without betraying his origin. I help him to...
And I just love them bringing up all the areas of London, you know, and just all the parts and of the UK in general. Just fun.
Professor Higgins, I should be delighted if you would present me to this Miss Doolittle.
No, no, you don't. Can't you see she's talking to a duchess?
Professor Higgins. Look at his head.
There's a big lesbo. Hello!
That's Viola Tree. She is actually the mother of the actor who plays Freddie.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they've come from a real theater family. The Tree.
You remember you so kindly addressed the guild of the Navy officers?
Look at the way she's walking. It's so funny. She's like 7 feet tall,
Yeah.
in flats.
Bad bangs.
I don't believe it's true.
Love that these women
Pretty.
had the bravery to show their arms. This is before women lifted weights, and so I'm like, you know, your arms aren't really all that toned at that point, but they all wear this
I have found out all about
Look wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, they look great, but it's like now, it's like you're so, you're so paranoid about how their arms look.
Brenda,
Yeah,
I think you might be projecting a little bit.
Well, maybe I am.
I think that the women in the UK are less obsessed with muscle. Do you know what I mean? About like we are here in America about getting fit I mean, they're fit, but they're not always upper body working out. They walk everywhere and they stay fit that way.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to blame it on Michelle Obama for getting me started on the...
She's way too hot. It's rude.
Well, that's Kate Cutler playing the grand old lady, as she is called in the credits.
Charming.
Oop.
Doolittle.
I assume she's a princess or something. They're all curtsying. I love that shot in the mirror.
Yeah, it's funny. But walk to the mirror. Set her down.
I hope you don't
Very
think I reduced that car
easy
park
directions.
to Eliza to win my bid. Oh, nonsense, but the game's all up, Pickering. He's found out all about her.
Isn't that pretty?
I say, Pick, look
I would
at
love
that.
a ball like that, like I have here. Just want to go to a giant ballroom.
Dress up and be around people.
It's a dream. I just love, yeah, exactly. Just even that.
I'm still waiting for the vampires.
What do you mean?
This is Transylvania ball. This is the ambassador meeting of whatever ambassador Transylvania.
If I may be allowed the honor.
I like events like this for like 30 minutes, and then I want to go home.
Yeah.
I enjoy getting dressed. I enjoy showing up, and then I want to leave immediately.
No, I want to be there 5 hours. I want to be outside on the balcony making out with somebody and then out in the garden and just being alone in the garden and then come back and everybody's gone but us and then we go home late. I mean, that's
a whole different movie. I like that
that's
movie.
Look at this. Look at this. She was able to do that. That was like the big moment. Just throwing it over the arm.
This is Leo Jen. He's playing the prince. That's the title of it. He's the prince of Transylvania.
Transylvania?
Gives the game away.
Yeah, it's Transylvania. That's why the vampires.
Got it. Sorry. That's why I was lost. I missed it.
I want that guy to drop all those rings.
I know, you
I want
expect
a
it.
little slapstick.
Easy, easy.
No, that is my secret. But I will tell your Excellency, she has a right to know who Miss Doolittle is.
Well, who is she?
She is a... Oh, no. She's a fraud. Oh, no. Yes, she cannot deceive me. Her name cannot be Doolittle. Why? Because Doolittle...
You see it, all writers are lesbians. Oh, if you use your brain, darling, I guess you're a lesbian? Okay, put on that jacket. Let's go.
There is no such thing. The English do not know how to speak their own language. Only foreigners who have been taught to speak it well. Yes, there's something in there. But if she's not English, what is she? Hungarian. Yes, Hungarian and of royal blood. I am Hungarian. My blood is royal.
What is she writing down?
She's a social reporter.
Yeah.
So she's like going to report on the latest social scene.
He's going to tweet later on in the evening.
Nonsense, she knows both. And the blood royal. How did you find that out? Instinct, maestro. Instinct only.
Okay.
The Hungarian, the Magyar race can produce that air of the divine right, those high cheekbones, those resolute eyes. She is a princess.
You think they'll ever bring back a ball like that? I just hope so. I love things like that. We should bring it back.
After the pandemic's over, I want supper clubs to be.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Very Cinderella-like here, but it's not really the climax of the, like, it undercuts the whole Cinderella thing later.
It's a tense Cinderella scene. She's not even dancing with the love, so there's almost no romance, it's
Right.
missing. Yeah,
Exactly. Just proving yourself rather than falling in love.
Professor?
right. It's just an experiment.
I say an ordinary Cockney girl out of the gutter. I place her in Covent Garden.
Maestro, maestro.
No.
You are mad on the subject of Cockney dialects.
You're
The
mad.
London gutter is the whole
sorry.
world for you. This girl is undoubtedly a
Princess? Have it your own way, Maestro. Have it your own way.
He's in love. Far away eyes.
So dark afterwards, right? Yeah, no light.
Listen to the schmucks, drunk schmucks behind her.
No. Why, say, Mrs. Pierce will rouse leaves things like about here. Oh, she'll pick them up. She'll think we were drunk. There we are. Slightly. Were there any letters? Didn't look. Heavens, what an evening. What a crew. What silly tomfoolery. Thank God it's all over. Hey, what the devil are my slippers? Well, you won your bet. Eliza did the trick and something to spare. Oh, it was interesting enough at first, but afterwards I got deadly sick of it. The whole thing's been a perfect bore. Oh, come, the reception was frightfully exciting. For the first 3 minutes.
Undercuts the whole thing even like that, you know.
I lost
It's
interest.
so rude.
No more artificial...
He's pretending it was so boring, but yeah, so mean to
I
her.
put everything into
Eliza
this.
did it awfully well. You see, lots of the real people can't do it at all. The silly fools don't even know their own silly business. Anyhow, that's all over and done with. Now I can go to bed without dreading tomorrow. Well, I shall turn in too. Still, it's been a great triumph for you. Yes, it has now, hasn't it? Marvelous. Good night. Good night, all right. Good night, Eliza.
Yeah, he couldn't think beyond his competitiveness, like proving to himself and everybody else that he could do it.
Put out the light.
And beyond that,
Even Pickering, who treats her well, doesn't like go out of his way to pet her and like praise
the
her.
drunk British man,
Yeah.
not going to spend any time with it. Pretty lamp.
I like the shelves.
I love those. Oh, empty.
Where did I put my slippers?
There are your slippers, and there! Take your slippers! And may you never have a day's luck with them.
What's the matter? Anything wrong?
No, nothing wrong with you. I won your bet, you haven't I? That's all that counts. I don't matter, I suppose.
You won my bet. You presumptuous insect, I won it.
Insect.
Why did you throw those slippers at me?
It's because I wanted to smash your face in. I'd like to kill you, you brute. Why didn't you
She's
leave me
saying
when
it
you found
properly.
me in the gutter? You thank God it's all over and that you can throw me back again there now, do you?
Well,
You see the temper here that we saw in the first scene. Finally again.
Don't you dare show your temper to me.
Is
Sit
that
down and be quiet.
film noir?
What's to become of me? What's to become of me?
How the devil do I know what's to become of you? What's it matter what becomes of you?
You don't care, I know you don't care. You wouldn't care if I was dead. I'm nothing to you, not so much as them slippers.
Those slippers.
Those slippers. Anything made any difference now?
May I ask whether you complain of your treatment here?
No.
Has anyone behaved badly to you? Colonel Pickering, Mrs. Pierce, any of the servants?
No.
I presume you don't pretend that I've treated you badly. Ah, well, I'm glad to hear that, anyway.
Well, that's up for
Probably
that's
you're
up for
tired
debate.
after the strain of the day. Here. Have a chocolate.
No.
No?
I feel like that's like a trained dog. You did your thing. Here's a treat.
Thank you.
She
Well,
refuses
it's all
it this
over
time.
now.
The first time she
Nothing more to worry about.
forced her to take it. But this time it's like, nope.
Nothing more for you to worry about. Oh, God.
Pretty shawl.
I wish I was dead.
Why? In heaven's name, why? Now listen to me, Eliza.
All this irritation is purely subjective.
I don't understand. I'm too ignorant.
It's only imagination. Low spirits, nothing more. Nobody's trying to hurt you, nothing's wrong. Now you go to bed like a good girl and sleep it off.
Good girl.
Have a little cry.
It's not a gun to your neck. It's all right.
That'll make you comfortable.
Everything must be fine.
I heard
Oh,
your
good girl.
prayers. Thank God it's all over.
Well, don't you thank God it's all over? Now you're free, you can do what you like.
What am I fit for? What have you left me fit for? Where am I to go? What am I to do? What's to become of me?
Oh, so that's what's worrying you, is it? Oh, you'll settle down somewhere or other? But I hadn't quite realized that you were going away.
I think this is
You might
really
marry, you
well
know.
played out. I mean, like,
You're not bad
written in
looking.
terms of...
Yeah, it's really well written, and they're both so good.
Of course, now you've been crying. You look as ugly as the very devil, but when you're quite all right and yourself, you're what I should call attractive. That is to people in the marrying line, you understand. Now you go to bed, have a good night's rest. Get up in the morning and look at yourself in the glass. You won't feel so cheap.
Gracias.
I dare say my mother could find some chap or other who'll do very well.
We were above that in Covent Garden.
What do you mean?
I sold flowers. I didn't sell myself. Now you've made a lady of me. I'm not fit to sell anything else.
Look at the
Wish you'd
shot
left me where you found me.
with the head of the
You don't
statue.
have to marry
lit
the
up.
fellow if you don't like
He's in
him.
silhouette, very
What am I
dark.
to do?
Well, lots of things.
Very
How about
profound
your old idea of a
statement.
florist
That
job?
Yes.
Picnic
makes
to set you up
earns a
money,
living,
lots of
but
money.
these women of high class,
Oh,
they
you
have to
know
marry
you're right.
somebody to make a
Right.
living. That's the ultimate prostitution.
Yep.
Yep, all they have is themselves to sell.
Yes.
Yep.
I must clear off to bed. I'm devilish sleepy.
Super important moment.
By the way, I came here for something.
Yeah, fucking slippers, you prick.
Forget what it was.
Your slippers.
Oh, yes, of course. You shied them at me.
Died. And I'll do it again.
Before you go, sir,
Eh?
do my clothes belong to me or to Colonel Pickering?
What the devil use should they be to Pickering?
You might want them for the next
Well,
girl
he might
you
enjoy
got
them.
to experiment on.
For the next girl.
Is that the way you feel towards us?
I don't want to hear any more about
He
you.
knows how to get him here.
All I want to know is what belongs to me and what doesn't. My own clothes were burnt.
What's it matter? Why need you start bothering about that in the middle of the night?
I want to know what I may take away with me. I don't want to be accused of stealing.
Stealing? Eliza, you shouldn't have said that. That shows a want of feeling.
I'm sorry. I'm only a common, ignorant girl. And in my station, I have to be careful. There can't be any feelings between the like of you and the like of me. Will you please tell me what belongs to me and what doesn't?
Oh, you can keep the whole confounded houseful if you like. All except the jewels, they're hired. Will that satisfy you?
Stop, please. Will you take these to your room and keep them safe? I don't want to run the risk of them being missing.
Hand them over. If these belong to me instead of the jeweler, I'd ram them down your ungrateful throat.
This ring, it isn't the jeweler's. It's the one you bought me in Brighton.
And that kind of shows that they spent time together. Brightens the beach.
Don't you hit me.
Oh,
You infamous creature. How dare you accuse me of such a thing? It's you who have hit me. You've wounded me to the heart.
I'm glad. I've got a little of my own back anyhow.
You've caused me to lose my temper. A thing that's hardly ever happened to me before. I prefer to say nothing more tonight. I shall go to bed.
I've never had a feeling before in my life. How dare you?
So I saw that as him hitting her, but apparently he didn't hit her. He was throwing the ring.
Trying to throw the ring.
Yeah.
Damn the coffee and damn
But
you.
it was
Damn my own folly.
It was meant to look that way, though. Yeah, meant for her to take it that way.
Intimidating gesture, for sure.
On a heartless gutter snipe.
Oh, see? Brilliant. He
He is
big
brilliant.
strides.
Yeah. He's a great actor.
Yeah. That dress is so lovely. And it's like the only thing she's ever been given, you know, that came from any kind of emotion whatsoever. Yep. Still out there.
What were you doing here?
Good old Freddie.
Nothing. As a matter of fact, I spend most of my nights.
Totally.
It's the only place I feel really happy.
Well, I have bad breath. I've been outside for 7 months.
Eliza's good enough for me.
Where are you going?
The river.
What for?
Make a hole in it.
Throw myself in it.
Make a hole in it?
Freddie, you don't think I'm after a scuttle snipe, do you?
No, darling. How can you imagine such a thing? I think you're the most wonderful, the loveliest.
Now then.
I just want to kiss your cheek. It's so
This isn't
intense.
Paris, you know.
No, sorry.
I love that. This isn't Paris. We're uptight here, you know.
That's right. Oh, well aware of it.
Oh, why not? Why shouldn't someone kiss me? Why shouldn't someone be in love with me? Kiss me again. Kiss me again.
All right.
Well, then you two, what's this?
There's some...
They're everywhere.
No, Constable, certainly not.
Move along then, double quick.
As you say, sir.
That happened to me and my boyfriend in a station wagon. Parents' station wagon. Right. Ah!
This is the prove you can't go back home.
Yeah.
You know, looking at her old self.
Far south, poor girl.
Oh, gal.
Poor girl. I can't. He didn't say it. Yeah, that was a moment of, right? I can't go back there. No. Like when I left New York because I couldn't stand watching elderly people dragging their carts up and down the stairs, you know, of the subway. I was just like, I can't watch it anymore. I've got to go. It's too painful. No, not the same thing.
Well, it is back to your childhood home. It's weird to go back to your
coffee, sir.
Yeah, to your hometown. Yeah. You want to go back, but you can't.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't wait to tell me. She's gone.
Gone?
I said gone, and I meant it, every word of it.
Mrs. Pierce, where the devil's my engagement book? I don't know any of my appointments.
Mommy!
No.
Yeah.
Whiskey in the ears, damn it.
Then you'd better
Eat
find
the chocolates.
What does that as of an inspector say? Will you offer a reward? What? You can't help us find her? What are the police for, in heaven's name?
I think he had a bad back. He was always leaning forward on something.
Of course, I don't care what becomes of her. Where the devil can she be?
He likes her. He likes her. And he's also a guy who can't admit that he likes her, so he's kind of the guy.
I say, Mother, here's the confounded thing.
It's a control thing at this point. Like, you know, that he didn't control her when she left.
What am I to
She
do?
I think
just
so,
left.
and I think he misses her though.
Yeah, no, but that's the, do you know what I'm saying? That's, that,
Something may have happened to her.
the excuse.
Like this, what are we to do?
You've no more sense, either of you, than two children. You must have frightened the poor girl.
Frightened? I hardly said a word to her. Did you bully her after I went to bed? Well, certainly not. Exactly the other way about. She threw the slippers in my face. The moment I entered the room, the slippers came bang in my face before I'd uttered a word. And she used the most perfectly awful language.
I can't say I'm surprised. And you mean to tell me that after all her hard work, and after doing this wonderful thing for you without making one single mistake, you two sat there and hardly said a word to her?
Well, we didn't make speeches, if that's what you mean.
You didn't thank her, pet her, admire her, and she only threw the slippers at you. I'd have thrown the firearms at you.
Mr. Henry, a gentleman wants to see you most particular.
Oh, but I can't see anybody now.
He's been sent on from Wimpole Street.
Who is it?
Mr. Doolittle, sir.
Doolittle? A dustman?
Dustman?
I love that.
Oh, no, sir. A gentleman.
Show him in.
Look at, she's like interested in
George Dick, this is some
a
restaurant she's
gentleman.
gone to. Someone we know nothing about.
He has a paycheck, it looks like.
Doolittle.
Look at this. I like that, looking down.
What the dickens has happened to you?
Henry Higgins, do you see this? Look at this. You done this.
Done what, man?
Look at this hat. Look at this coach.
Good morning, Mr. Doolittle. Won't you come in?
Thank you, ma'am.
What has my
Look at his
son
gloves.
done to you?
He's ruined me, destroyed my happiness, tied me up and delivered me into the hands of middle-class morality.
You're raving, you're drunk, you're mad. I gave you £5. After that, I had 2 conversations with you at £0.5 an hour, and you've never even seen you since.
Oh, man, am I?
The whole 2 conversations with him at £0.5 an hour, where'd that come
Did you
from?
not write your own Blight in America?
Well, he just didn't show
The
it.
most original
Right.
moralist at present in England was Alfred Doolittle, a common garbage man.
But Ezra D. Wonderfeller Jr.? Oh, I remember making some silly joke of the kind.
Oh, you might well call it a silly joke. It's put the lid on me right enough. Just give him the chance he was looking for. To show Americans isn't like us. That they recognize and respect merit in whatever class of life, however humble. Them words is in his blooming will, in which he leaves me £3,000 a year, on condition I lecture for the Wonderfeller Moral Reform League, as often as they ask me up 6 times a year.
But this solves the problem of Eliza's future. You can provide for her now.
Yes, I'm expected to provide for everybody now at £3,000 a year.
He shan't provide for her, she doesn't belong to him. I paid him £5 for her.
Well,
Doolittle, you're either an honest man or you're a rogue.
Yeah.
A little of both, very like the
Men
rest of
fighting
us,
over her,
both.
The
but
point is, have you found Eliza?
The ownership.
Have you lost her?
yep.
Blimey, you have all the luck you have. No, I ain't found her, but she'll find me quick enough now. That's what you done to me.
Now, you listen to me.
Will you wait here for a moment, Mr. Doolittle?
Wouldn't mind men fighting over me to pay for me for the rest of my life.
I
That'd
was
be all
surprised
right.
for you. Do you really want to know where Eliza
So bad?
is?
Yes, where is she?
She says she's willing to meet you on friendly terms. And let bygones be bygones.
Is she, by God? Pickering, where is she?
Now promise to behave yourself, Henry.
Good morning, Colonel Pickering. Quite chilly this morning, isn't it?
Weather?
Oh, how do you do, Professor Higgins? Are you quite well? But of course you are. You're never ill. Won't you sit down, Colonel Pickering?
Don't you dare try this game on with me. Get up and come home and don't be a fool.
Very nicely put indeed, Henry. No woman could resist such an invitation.
Let her speak for herself. There isn't an idea that I haven't put into her head. I tell you, I've created this thing out of squashed cabbage leaves in Covent Garden. Now she pretends to play the fine lady with me.
Will you drop me altogether now the experiment is over, Colonel Pickering?
Oh, you mustn't think of it as an experiment.
Oh, I'm only a squashed cabbage leaf. But I owe so much to you that I should be very unhappy if you forgot me. You see, it was from you that I learned really nice manners. And that's what makes one a lady, isn't it?
Ah,
And that's what makes the difference, after all.
no doubt. Still, he taught you to speak, you know, and I couldn't have done that.
Of course, that was his profession. It was just like learning to dance in the fashionable way. There was nothing more than that in it. But you know what began my real education?
No.
You're calling me Miss Doolittle that day when I first came to Wimpole Street. That was the beginning of self-respect for me. You see, the difference between a lady and a flower girl isn't how she behaves. It's how she's treated. So I know that I should always be a flower girl to Professor
Theme
Higgins.
right
but
there.
Florence treats me as a flower girl and always will.
Don't grind your teeth, Henry.
I know that I can be a lady to you because you always treat me as a lady and always will.
It's very nice of you to say so, Miss Doolittle.
I should like you to call me Eliza now, if you would.
Oh,
Thank you.
that's quite familiar.
Eliza.
Ah.
Of course.
Oh.
And I should like Professor Higgins to call me Miss Doolittle.
Henry? But you're coming back, aren't you? You'll forgive Higgins. Forgive? Will she, by George? Let her go. Better find out what it's like to be without us. In 3 weeks, she'll relapse back into the gutter without me at her elbow. You won't relapse, will you, Eliza?
No, never again. I don't believe I could utter one of those old songs if I tried. Ow!
Ha-ha! What did I tell you? Victory! Victory! Ow! 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 Ow!
Henry!
Ow! It's Eliza, it's not my fault.
Oh, what a nightmare.
Henry, look, Henry. Oh. Colonel, I'm getting late for the wedding.
Wedding? What wedding?
Mine.
Yours?
Yes, in spite of all I've said and done.
And I can't help but watch this and think, get me to the church on time from My Fair Lady. It's playing in my head right now.
We should come
And I can't help but think, get a wig for this poor man.
It looks painted on.
I know, it looks like an island of hair or paint, something.
Don't tell Eliza,
not
she don't know.
quite right.
I was ever so
huge part.
about telling her.
You're quite right.
You come to the church and you see me through straight.
With pleasure.
Some of the guys in the Munchkins and Wizard of Oz had that.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We should
Split
indeed
down the
be
middle,
honoured by
though.
your condescension, Mum. My poor old woman, she'd look upon it as a tremendous compliment.
Tremendous.
She's been very low lately.
Love that word.
Tremendous.
Tremendous. You're tremendous.
I love that his almost wife is also low about getting married. Neither of them want to get
Stepmother's
married.
going to
Have
marry
to.
me. Will you come to the church and see me turned off?
It's going to ruin his life. This
Yeah,
one.
and hers.
Yeah.
Colonel Pickering.
It means he has to pay for her.
Yep.
Bridegroom.
And be responsible.
What a word.
Can't be
Makes
undeserving
one
corn.
realize his position somehow. So long. See you at the church. Middle-class morality claims its victim.
Oh, God. Oh. What was that?
Eliza. Well, Eliza, you've had a bit of your own back now, as you call it. You had enough? You going to be reasonable, or do you want some more?
You want me back only to put up with your tempers and pick up your slippers and fetch and carry for you.
I haven't said I wanted you back at all.
Oh, indeed.
Oh.
Then what are we talking about?
About you, not about me. If you come back to me, I shall treat you just the same as I've always treated you. I can't change my nature, and I don't intend to change my manners. My manners are exactly the same as Colonel Pickering.
That's not true. He treats a flower girl as if she were a duchess.
I treat a duchess as if she were a flower girl.
I see. The same to everyone. Oh, I don't care how you treat me. I don't mind your swearing at me. I don't mind a black eye. I've had one before this. I won't be passed over.
Is that a
Get out of my
challenge?
way, for I won't stop for you. You talk to me as if I were a bus.
So you are a bus, all bounce and go, no consideration for anyone.
Once for all, understand that I go my way and do my work without caring tuppence what happens to either of us. So you can come back or go to the devil, whichever you please.
And what am I to come back for?
For the fun of it. That's what I took you on for.
And you can throw me out tomorrow if I don't do everything you want me to?
And you can walk out tomorrow if I don't do everything you want me to.
And live with my stepmother?
Yes, or sell flowers. Or would you rather marry Pickering?
I wouldn't marry you if you asked me. And you're nearer my age than what he is.
Than he is.
I'll speak as I like. You're not my teacher now.
Yeah.
Oh, well, he's lost her now.
I don't know that Pickering would, though. He's as confirmed an old bachelor as I am.
That's not what I want, and don't you think it. I've always had chaps enough wanting me that way. Freddie Hill writes to me, twice and 3 times a day. Sheets and sheets.
Blast his impudence.
He has a right to if he likes, poor lad. And he does love me.
You have no right to encourage him.
Every girl has a right to be loved.
Well, by fools like that?
Freddie's not a fool.
Oh.
If he's weak and poor and wants me, Maybe he'd make me happier than my betters who bully me and don't want me. I can do without you. Don't think I can't.
You've never asked, I suppose, whether I could do without you.
You'll have to do without me.
I can do without anybody. I have my own soul, my own spark of divine fire. But I shall miss you, Eliza. I confess that humbly and gratefully. I've become accustomed to your voice and appearance. I even like them, rather.
Well, you have them both on your gramophone and in your book of photographs.
Mm-hmm.
When you feel lonely, you can turn the machine on. It's got no feeling of the hurt.
I can't turn your soul on.
Mm.
Oh, you're a devil. You can twist the heart in a girl as easily as some can twist her arms to hurt her. I want a little kindness. I know I'm only a common, ignorant girl, but I'm not dirt under your feet. What I did, well, it wasn't for the dresses and the taxis. It was because we were pleasant together and because I'd came to care for you, not forgetting the difference between us and not wanting you to make love to me, but well, more friendly, like.
Of course, Eliza. That's exactly how I feel. And how Pickering feels.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
I see you're a fool.
That's not
Suggesting
proper.
threesome?
Forgive me.
I'm confused.
If you can't stand the coldness of my sort of life and the strain of it, go back to the gutter. Oh, it's a fine life, the life of the gutter. It's real, it's warm, it's violent. Not like science, and literature, and classical music, and philosophy and art.
Ugh.
You find me cold, unfeeling, selfish, don't you? Very well, then marry some sentimental hog or other, with a thick pair of lips to kiss you with, and a thick pair of boots to kick you with. If you can't appreciate what you've got, you better get what you can appreciate.
I won't care for anyone who doesn't care for me.
Oh, Eliza, you're an idiot. I waste the treasures of my Miltonic mind by spreading them before you.
Oh, I can't talk to you. You turn everything against me. You know very well that I can't go back to the gutter, as you call it, and that I've no real friends in the world but you and the Colonel. You think I must go back to Wimpole Street because I've nowhere to go but Father's. But don't you be too sure that you have me under your feet to be bullied and talked down. I'll marry Freddie, I will, as soon as I'm able to support him.
I feel like he's...
You shall marry an
This is
ambassador.
Shaw's frustration as well. You know, Shaw's is him right now, and he's offering what he can, and he feels like it's more than
But I
enough.
haven't forgotten what you said a minute ago.
It's also his,
Point.
you know,
I
it's
can't
his,
offer everything. That's
right, and it's his wall. It's his wall that he hits.
We're all of us dependent one on another, every soul on earth.
I'll let you see whether I'm dependent on you. If you can preach...
And I think Shaw realizes she deserves
I'll go
more.
and be a teacher.
She deserves everything.
What do you teach in heaven's name?
What you taught me, I'll teach phonetics. I'll offer myself as an assistant to Professor Carpati.
What, that humbug? That imposter, that toadying ignoramus? You
That's such a
take
good
one
scene, though.
step
They're
in
both
his
so
direction,
good.
I'll wring your neck, you hear?
Ring away! What do I care? I knew you'd strike me one day.
Oh.
Now I know how to deal with you. Oh, what a fool I was not to think of it before. Huh. That's done you, Henry Higgins, it has, and I don't give that for your bullying and your fine talk. When I think of myself crawling under your feet and being trampled on and talked down, when all the time I'd only to lift my finger to be as good as you are, oh, I could just kick myself.
By George, Eliza, I said I'd make a woman of you, and I have. I like you like this.
Yes, you make up to me now that I'm not afraid of you and I can do without you.
Of course I do, you little fool. 5 minutes ago, you were a millstone round my neck. Now you're a tower of strength, a consort battleship.
Goodbye, Professor Higgins.
Mm-hmm. Thank God. Who the hell is it? Could it be a taxi? No, son of a bitch!
That's where the play ends when she, right?
That is where Shaw wanted it to end. Yes.
Does she leave with the other guy or just leave?
She left with the other
With
guy.
Freddie.
In the play. Okay.
Oh, sorry, in the play.
With Freddie,
Yeah.
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 But the actors would often undercut it because the audience wanted them together romantically, and so often Shaw would come see the show, and the actor playing Higgins would throw flowers down at the woman from his window, like to show a romantic thing. So Shaw never really saw his play the way he wanted it to be, because audiences and actors and directors of his films
That's right.
would create a more romantic.
And that's his obstacle. That's Shaw's obstacle. And he was okay with that obstacle. He wanted everybody else to be okay with it.
He did.
But the world wants more. And so that's us, you know, trying to stretch beyond what we're comfortable with, our safety zone, you know. And so he took their
I think
direction.
we have trouble seeing relationships that aren't romantic. Like, we really think that that's sort of, we've been taught that's the end all be all.
I don't know about that. I feel like people have blocks, and this was a block for him. And I think that if you can break through your fears and stuff like that, you know, because I think in reality everybody wants true love and wants to be people to be attracted to them. And
Yeah. Here's
the whole thing.
Here's our final moment.
I'll be quiet.
Where the devil are my slippers, Eliza?
I hate that so much.
You want your slippers? Yeah.
I really want her to, like, in the back of his head, get the shot of the hitting his head.
And that's him taking his power back.
Right, that's
You know?
exactly what it is. Him establishing, okay, you came back to me, I'm going to be in control.
Right.
But he also
I
knows
hate
he
that
doesn't.
so much.
Right, but he also knows he doesn't have the power. That's the thing. It's just his only action that he can take in order to get his power back, but he doesn't have it. He doesn't
Well,
have it.
they're going to be in therapy soon. So this was fun, and we will talk more about those issues in the post-show Walla that will be down below this this clip. So hopefully our audience will find that, and we are glad our audience joined us. So disaster to the wench.
Disaster to the
Cheers,
wench.
everybody. Disaster to the wench.
Be a good gal.
Good girl. Just a
Bye.
good girl.